There is a moment that thousands of people describe in almost the exact same way. They had the clues, and they explained every single one of them away. I want to talk about something that is a little uncomfortable, but that could genuinely change the course of your life, or the life of someone you love. It is the quiet way that cancer often begins. Not with a dramatic collapse, but with small, ordinary signs that are so easy to dismiss that most people do exactly that. They dismiss them. And later, so many of them say the same heartbreaking thing: I wish I had taken it seriously. In its earliest and most treatable stage, cancer rarely shouts. It whispers. Here is why this matters so much. In its earliest stage, when it is most treatable, cancer usually does not hurt, and it does not announce itself. It sends up small signals, and because those signals look exactly like stress, aging, or ordinary life, we talk ourselves out of them. We say, I am just tired. I have been so busy. It is probably nothing. And most of the time, it really is nothing, but not always. And that is the whole point of today. Today, 3 specific clues, the ones people most often wish they had acted on sooner. So today, I'm going to walk you through 3 specific clues, not a long, frightening list, just the 3 that people most often look back on and wish they had taken seriously. For each one, I will tell you what it actually is, why it is so incredibly easy to explain away, and the exact point where it stops being nothing and becomes a real reason to see a doctor. The goal here is not fear. It is calm awareness and early action. And I want to be clear about the spirit of this from the very start. This is not about fear. Fear makes people freeze, or worse, it makes them avoid the doctor because they are scared of what they might hear. This is about the opposite of that. Calm, clear awareness, so that if your body ever does send one of these signals, you know what it means and you act early when acting actually matters most. Because when cancer is caught early, before it spreads, everything changes. Because here's the hopeful truth underneath all of this. When cancer is found early, before it has spread, treatment is often dramatically more effective. Catching a whisper instead of waiting for a shout can be the entire difference. That is exactly why these 3 quiet clues are worth the next 25 minutes of your attention. Most people cannot name these 3. By the end, you will know all of them. Most people, if you ask them right now, could not confidently name these 3 clues, or the one simple rule that tells you when any symptom is worth checking. By the end of this video, you will know all of it. So stay with me, because this is the kind of knowledge you hope you never need, and that you would be deeply grateful to have if you ever did. The 3 clues most people wish they had taken seriously, and the one rule that ties them all together. Before we go any further, a quick and important note, woven right in. This video is for general education and awareness only. It is not medical advice, and it absolutely cannot diagnose anything. Only a doctor can do that. Nothing here is meant to frighten you or to replace a real conversation with a healthcare professional. If anything I describe sounds familiar, the takeaway is never to panic. It is simply to get it checked. With that said, let us start with the strangest part of this whole story, why our own minds are so good at explaining these clues away. And that is really the whole aim of today, to gently remove the excuses your mind reaches for. Our minds are wired to prefer the calm explanation over the scary one. We are busy, and a doctor visit feels like an interruption we cannot afford. And quietly, fear of the answer keeps people from asking the question. Awareness simply removes the excuse to look away. The mind quietly picks the least frightening story available. Life is loud, and a quiet signal is easy to drown out. And avoidance feels safer, right up until it is not. It is probably nothing is the most common last thought. Awareness just asks you to pause before you decide that. One honest question can change the whole outcome. So we start by naming the excuses out loud. So the first step is simply to stop looking away. So the clue gets a comfortable label, and the weeks slip by. To understand the clues, it helps to understand why they are so quiet. Cancer, at its core, is your own cells growing out of control. In the beginning, a small group of those cells usually does not press on anything, block anything, or cause pain. So instead of loud, local symptoms, the earliest signs are often quiet, whole body ones, the effects of your body quietly diverting energy and resources to something that should not be there. This is exactly why knowing your own normal is so quietly powerful. Cancer cells can use up a lot of your body's energy supply. They can also release substances that change how your body uses food. That is why the earliest clues are often general: fatigue, weight change, feeling off. This is why paying attention to your baseline matters so much. Early on, a small cluster of cells rarely presses on anything. So the first signs are whole body, not one loud local symptom, which is exactly why they are so easy to miss. Your normal is your baseline, and change is the signal. A shift from your normal is worth more than any checklist. This is why you are the best early detector you have. Small and quiet, but never meaningless. Learn your baseline, and a whisper becomes easy to hear. Quiet does not mean unimportant. It means easy to miss. Clue number 1 is the one people are almost happy about at first: unexplained weight loss. And I understand why. In a world where so many of us are trying to lose weight, the scale suddenly dropping can feel like a gift. But here's the distinction that matters. This is weight loss you did not try for. You did not change how you eat or how you move, and yet the pounds are quietly coming off. That is the version worth paying attention to. So the question to ask yourself is simple: did I actually do anything to cause this? According to the American Cancer Society, unexplained weight loss is often the first noticeable sign of several cancers. Many people lose 10 pounds or more before a cancer is ever diagnosed. It happens because the cancer changes your metabolism and how you use food. The key word is unexplained. Weight loss you did not work for. Same diet, same activity, and the weight still falls. The cancer can quietly change how your body burns fuel. That is why it is often the very first sign people notice. Clothes feeling loose without any effort is a common first hint. 10 pounds or more, unplanned, is a classic threshold. It can be the first sign of pancreatic or stomach cancer. If you did not try for it, it is worth a mention. Unplanned pounds leaving quietly is the version that matters. A useful line: losing more than 5% of your body weight without trying is worth a visit. Clue number 2 is the one almost everyone dismisses because almost everyone is tired. It is fatigue, but not the ordinary kind. Not the tiredness that a good night of sleep or a restful weekend fixes. This is a deeper, heavier exhaustion that does not lift no matter what you do. If you have been running on empty for weeks, sleeping enough but still feeling drained, and there is no obvious reason, that is the version worth noticing. Ask yourself whether the tiredness has outlasted every reasonable explanation. Cancer-related fatigue is extreme tiredness that does not get better with rest. It is often caused by anemia, a low red blood cell count, sometimes from quiet internal blood loss. A sudden, lasting drop in energy, no matter how much sleep you get, deserves attention. The difference is that rest and sleep simply do not fix it. This is exhaustion that a weekend of rest simply cannot touch. Often it traces back to a slow, hidden loss of blood. Weeks of unexplained exhaustion is the version to notice. It is the kind of tired that seeps into everything you do. Weeks of it, with no clear cause, is the red flag. Sometimes it is the body quietly compensating for anemia. If sleep is not fixing it, listen a little closer. Tired that outlasts rest is tired worth checking. Leukemia, colon, and stomach cancers are among those that commonly cause it. Clue number 3 is the one people are often embarrassed to talk about or quick to explain away: unusual bleeding. This means blood showing up where it does not belong. Blood in the stool, blood in the urine, unexpected bleeding between periods or after menopause, or any bleeding that is new and unexplained. It is easy to assume it is something minor, and sometimes it is. But this is a clue that truly deserves a closer look. Whatever the source, new or unexplained bleeding is simply worth a professional look. Unusual bleeding means blood appearing where it should not. Colorectal cancers can bleed into the digestive tract, sometimes long before you notice. Rectal bleeding is often mistaken for hemorrhoids, so it gets waved away. The instinct to feel embarrassed is exactly what delays the check. Blood in the stool is a classic example that gets dismissed, but it can be an early signal of colorectal cancer. New bleeding of any kind earns a conversation with a doctor. Bright red or dark blood in the stool is worth checking. Blood in the urine can point to bladder or kidney issues. Bleeding after menopause is never simply normal. The embarrassment fades, the check is what matters. New bleeding is a clue, not an embarrassment. Blood in the urine or unexpected bleeding after menopause also deserves a check. Now here is something that raises the importance of all three. Any one of these clues, on its own, usually turns out to be harmless. But when they start to cluster, when you notice, say, unexplained weight loss and deep fatigue at the same time, the picture changes. Clues that show up together and stick around together are your body speaking more loudly. That combination is a stronger signal to stop explaining and start asking. So watch for company, not just for any single clue on its own. Any single clue is usually harmless. Together, they speak louder. Weight loss plus fatigue, for example, can point to hidden blood loss. Clusters that persist are the body asking, clearly, to be checked. Two quiet clues together often say more than one loud one. One clue is a question. Several clues is a sentence. Clusters often reflect a shared underlying cause, so take combinations more seriously than any single sign. Two clues together deserve twice the attention. Persistence plus company is a strong combination. That is often when a quiet story becomes readable. So track the group, not just the individual. Clues that travel together carry more weight. So notice not just each clue, but whether they are keeping company. So how do you know when any of this is worth acting on? Here is the single rule to remember above every individual symptom. It is not about one dramatic sign. It is about a pattern, persistent, unexplained, or changing. If something new sticks around, if it has no obvious cause, or if it keeps evolving, that is your signal. And there is even a simple time frame attached to it. Hold on to that one rule and you will always know when to act. The rule: persistent, unexplained, or changing. A good line: anything new that lasts more than 2 to 3 weeks deserves a conversation. Cancer symptoms tend to persist or worsen rather than come and fully go. Persistence, not drama, is what actually matters. New and it will not leave is the pattern to watch. Harmless things tend to pass. This rule catches what does not. 2 to 3 weeks is a simple, memorable threshold. Persistent means it stays when it should have passed. Unexplained means there is no obvious reason for it. Changing means it is growing, spreading, or evolving. Any one of those three earns a conversation. Persistent, unexplained, or changing. Remember those three words. So the question is not, is this scary? It is, has this stuck around? And now the balance, because this is just as important as everything else I have said. Most of the time, these clues are not cancer. Fatigue is far more often stress or poor sleep. Unexplained weight loss can be thyroid issues or many other things. Bleeding is very often something minor. I am not telling you to assume the worst. I am telling you not to assume nothing. The goal is not anxiety. It is simply a check so you can stop wondering. This balance is what keeps awareness healthy instead of turning it into anxiety. Most fatigue, weight change, and bleeding turn out to be something harmless. The point is not to assume the worst. It is not to assume nothing. A check often brings relief, and either way, you stop wondering. So hold both truths. Do not panic and do not ignore. Fatigue is far more often stress or simply poor sleep. Weight change and bleeding usually have gentler explanations. Checking is not assuming the worst. It is closing the question. Thyroid issues, diabetes, and stress mimic these clues. So the odds are usually on your side, but odds are not certainty, which is why you check. Calm and checked beats anxious and guessing. Likely fine, still worth confirming, both are true. Peace of mind is a perfectly good reason to get something looked at. Let me show you why acting on these clues early is so powerful. Cancer is generally easier to treat when it is small and has not spread. Once it stays quiet long enough to grow and travel, treatment becomes harder and outcomes get worse. That is the entire reason these whispers matter. Every week a clear clue goes unchecked is a week the story could be quietly moving in the wrong direction. Early questions genuinely save lives. That is why a small, early clue is genuinely a gift, not a threat. Cancer found early, before it spreads, is often far more treatable. By the time symptoms are loud, the cancer may have grown and spread. That is why a quiet clue, checked early, is so valuable. Time is the one thing you can still control here. Small and local is far easier to treat than large and spread. Every unchecked week lets a quiet story keep moving. So early action is simply giving yourself better odds. Early cancers often have far more treatment options. Waiting can quietly narrow those options over time. Time is the variable you still get to influence. A whisper check today protects your tomorrow. Early is where your best options live. Acting early is not overreacting. It is giving yourself the best odds. There is something even better than catching a clue early, and that is catching cancer before there is any clue at all. That is what screening does. Screening tests look for certain cancers in people with no symptoms whatsoever, and for several cancers, they genuinely save lives. Do not wait for a whisper if a simple, recommended test can find something even sooner. This is one of the most powerful tools you have. So find out which screenings are recommended for your age and get on schedule. Screening looks for cancer before you have any symptoms. Screening tests can reduce the risk of dying from breast, cervical, colorectal, and lung cancers. Mammograms, colonoscopies, and the checks for your age catch things early. A screening does not mean your doctor thinks you are sick. Screening can find trouble before you feel a single thing. For several cancers, that head start genuinely saves lives. Ask your doctor which tests are right for your age and history. A mammogram can find breast cancer before you can feel it. A colonoscopy can remove growths before they turn cancerous. Screening is protection you schedule, not a scare. No symptoms needed, that is the entire point. Book the screenings your age and history call for. Some screenings even find growths before they ever become cancer. Some people should be especially tuned into these clues. If cancer runs in your family, your personal risk is higher, so mention that history to your doctor. Age raises risk for most cancers, so the clues carry more weight as we get older. And lifestyle matters too. Tobacco use in particular sharply raises risk. If any of this is you, do not wait longer to check a clue, act sooner, and stay on schedule with your screenings. None of this is about worry. It is about matching your caution to your risk. A family history of cancer raises your personal risk. Risk for most cancers climbs as we get older. Tobacco use sharply raises the risk of many cancers. Share your family history. It genuinely guides your care. Higher risk simply means a lower threshold to check. It also means staying strictly on your screening schedule. Match your vigilance to your personal risk calmly. Close relatives with cancer nudge your risk upward. Most cancers become more common with age. Quitting tobacco lowers that risk over time. Know your risk, then act in proportion to it. Higher risk, lower threshold to simply get checked. If that is you, act on clues sooner and keep your screenings current. So let us make this practical, because awareness only helps if it leads to calm action. If you notice one of these clues, do not spiral and do not ignore it. Do this instead. Note when it started and whether it is sticking around. Write down anything else you have noticed alongside it. And if it passes that 2 to 3 week mark, or it is getting worse, make an appointment. You are not overreacting. You are being a good caretaker of your own body. Small, calm steps like these are what turn awareness into real protection. If you notice a clue, note when it started and whether it persists. Write down anything else you have noticed alongside it. If it lasts beyond 2 to 3 weeks or worsens, book an appointment. A few notes on your phone can make that visit far more useful. A simple note on your phone is enough to start. Track the start date, the change, and anything alongside it. Then let the 2 to 3 week rule make the call. Do not spiral and do not shrug it off. Log the date it started and track it for a couple of weeks. If it persists or worsens, pick up the phone. Small, steady steps beat one big wave of worry. Notice, note, and if it lingers, book it. This is not overreacting. It is caretaking your own body. One more piece, because it can make all the difference: how you talk to your doctor. When you go in, be specific and be honest. Say exactly how long it has been happening, how it has changed, and every clue you have noticed, even the awkward ones, especially the bleeding. Do not minimize it to seem tough or polite. And if something still feels wrong after you are reassured, it is completely okay to ask, what else could this be? Or to seek a second opinion. The clearer you are, the better your doctor can help you. Be specific: how long, how much, and every clue together. Do not minimize your symptoms to seem tough or polite. If something still feels wrong, it is okay to ask what else it could be. A second opinion is your right, never a rudeness. Bring your notes so nothing important gets forgotten. Name every clue, even the awkward ones, especially bleeding. And trust that asking more questions is always allowed. Lead with the timeline, how long and how it changed. Mention every clue, not just the one that worries you most. Ask directly, could this be something we should rule out? A good doctor welcomes a prepared, honest patient. Clear and honest is the most helpful thing you can be. You are your own best advocate, and that is exactly as it should be. 3 clues: unexplained weight loss, relentless fatigue, and unusual bleeding. 1 rule: persistent, unexplained, or changing means get it checked. So here is where we land. 3 quiet clues that people most often wish they had taken seriously. Unexplained weight loss you did not try for. A deep fatigue that rest does not fix. And unusual bleeding, blood where it does not belong. And 1 rule that ties them all together: if a sign is persistent, unexplained, or changing, and it lasts beyond 2 to 3 weeks, get it checked. Remember, most of the time it will be nothing, and that reassurance is worth having. But if it is ever something, catching it early is everything. Do not sit in fear, and do not explain the clue away. Just take it seriously enough to ask. Stay aware, keep your screenings current, and be the person who acts on a whisper. If this was valuable, share it with someone you love. It may be the reminder they needed. And subscribe to Vital 10 for more honest health you can actually use. Know the 3 clues, trust the 1 rule. Do not panic and do not ignore. Just get it checked.